Welcome back. Well, it is definitely pressured for the mid caps, and the bank nifty is under pressure as well. So down around 0.4% currently for the bank nifty. Good time then to get a handle in terms of what the strategy one's strategy should be in such a market. We have Amnish Agarwal, who's the head research at Prabhudas Leeladhar, joining in to talk about the overall view on the markets as well as the micros. Amnish, hi. Thank you very much for joining in. Well, you know, the title of your report, of your India strategy report, is that there are headwinds ahead. And the markets, as we know, the Nifty especially, has been completely range-bound despite the broader markets outperforming. Could you just list out what might these headwinds be, and do you expect a correction in the Nifty in this year?
Okay, good afternoon. You see, we have been, if you look at, say, past 12 months or so, we have been very positive on the markets. And even when the Nifty was, say, 15,000, we had a target above, say, 19,000 odd. And the market has seen good rally, say, particularly in the last, say, four odd months, ever since FI inflows have started meaningfully. Now, incrementally, you see, as far as India is concerned, as of now, we remain the fastest growing economy in the world. The undercurrents as of now are strong. But what headwinds we are looking forward to mainly is, and I think they have also started playing out, is inflation. Because the reason RBI paused interest rates in India was mainly because the food inflation fell sharply, and food inflation is a very significant part of the total inflation basket. However, what we have seen in the last month and a half, that the food inflation has risen very sharply again back to more than 7.4%. And if you look the way things are behaving on the monsoon front, for example, El Nino is already playing out. Now, up till last week, the monsoons were 6% below normal, and the dispersion of monsoon in a few states was really bad. Now, if I combine these two factors and the fact that we are still, say, at least 1.5 months left for the monsoon, and if the monsoons incrementally are not good, then that could impact the overall agricultural production, particularly some of the essential items like, for example, your pulses are one, oil seeds are another, where the production, your sowing itself has been lower. The prices of whether it is wheat, sugar, okay, they have been rising. So I think it is basically, you can say, food inflation, which is going to, you can say, hit badly and which can impact the consumer demand. And the second big headwind could be your global interest rate, because the US markets, they are not cooling off in that manner, and there is likelihood of Fed increasing the interest rates. So I think these two, and the third, yeah.
Got it. No, I take your point entirely that, you know, there are a lot of headwinds that this market is facing, and a lot of the people we speak to, I mean, we were speaking to TTK Prestige a while back, of course, in the consumption space, but they told us that, you know, spending patterns, consumption patterns are also changing now. So demand is falling on that account as well. But I was going through your note, and within that, you say that in this earnings season, particularly, capital goods, pharma and travel companies saw a beat in their earnings. So can you just narrow it down for us in terms of individual stocks? Which are the stocks where there is both valuation as well as earnings upside now?
Okay, you see, if you look at the capital goods pack, I think the entire pack has done well. So whether these are companies like, say, Siemens ABB, or mid-cap companies like, for example, your companies like Apar, they have done well. So if you look broadly, the entire capital goods pack has done very well. Bharat Electronics has done well. And even for the next 3 to 5 years, if the same momentum continues, I think the capital goods companies will continue to do well. And we are particularly very positive on names like Siemens is there, ABB is there, L&T is there, Bharat Electronics is there in the large caps, Carborundum is there. So this entire pack broadly looks good, barring, say, one stock here or there where we might have seen some sort of an earnings slippage. When it comes to the pharma pack in particular, what has happened on the pharma side is that while the domestic, you can say, demand and margins have been steady, the more turnaround has happened in the US markets, where the pricing pressure has come down significantly. And secondly, many of the companies which were into, say, your one particularly, you can say, drug which had gone off patent, which is your Revlimid. So the companies which have launched that, but in the US market, those companies have got benefit. And there are chances that you can say it included Dr. Reddy's and I think a few more Cipla and a few more names. So that has been, I think, you can say one major factor. And if the pricing pressure incrementally in the US markets on the generic side is low, then the pharma, all the frontline pharma names should reasonably do well in terms of, say, performance.
Right. Avnish, go ahead. Go ahead.
Yeah, so which was the third sector you referred to?
Travel, pharma, and capital goods.
Okay. You see, the travel, you can actually look at, say, two aspects of it. One big reason for travel doing well has been because when you look at the aggregate numbers, one is your interglobe aviation. Because you can say the tourism aviation in particular is doing well, and interglobe, I think Indigo has been like your turnaround in this quarter. So that is one part of travel. The second is the hotel industry, which has been doing very well. Your ARRs and occupancy, both of them are improving, and that is the second bit which is contributing. Although luggage has been, I would say, some sort of a mixed bag.
All right. And final question, because you spoke about travel, you spoke about luggage, and you have been an expert in the FMCG retail sector as well, Avnish. Just wanted to know your major rating downgrade coming in on VIP. Thereafter, there was a management change. We saw that resignation come in from Anindya Datta. And talking about resignations, overnight we had the news on Shoppers Stop as well, where Venu Nair has resigned. Your thoughts on this space, luggage retail and retail in general, value retail?
Okay, you see, luggage, if you look at, say, particularly post-COVID, the entire industry had done well because the entire travel and tourism came into, you can say, some sort of a momentum. However, within the luggage industry, there has been a lot of change. For example, Safari, which was more into the mass and value play. So gradually, they have been, you can say, upping their momentum. They have even entered your mid-premium and premium sector, and they have been gaining market share. So luggage, I would say that the segment has gained margins. The segment has been growing well. But definitely, Safari is the company which has actually taken the momentum over there, and we are very positive on it, and it should continue to do well. Now, as far as the retail space is concerned, I think the retail space and the general consumption, there is definitely a very mixed sort of a trend on two counts. One being clearly that your mass segment and the value segment there, because of the inflation, that is coming under a lot of pressure as far as the demand is concerned. And when it comes to your premium or the luxury goods, because the upper middle class and all, they have been spending more. So that segment has been doing very well. So in the retail space, in the QSR space and consumer in general, so this is a very, you can say, clear trend which is visible. And because many of these large listed players in the retail space, they are more on the mass segment. So that segment has been on the receiving end, and it has not been doing that well.
Okay. All right, Avnish, we're going to leave it on that note, but it's been a pleasure. Thank you very much for joining in and speaking with us. Well, we will definitely touch base with you again to discuss more specific stocks. Time for a short break, but up next we have an interesting conversation. Nisha will be discussing the recent conglomerate-led listings of entities and the market's outlook on these developments. Also, we will have an exclusive conversation lined up with Salil Pitale, who's the joint MD and co-CEO at Axis Capital.